Hey everyone, it's Ryan here. So I'm going to do my reactions for WWE Hell in a Cell 2018, which was on last night. Uh, so to me, it was an almost perfect pay-per-view. Definitely could have been one of the best pay-per-views of 2018. Just the ending sort of ruined it over. I could see what they were trying to do with it, but it just doesn't work, especially in the scenario they're in. So I'm going to go through the entire show with you and give you my thoughts on each match. Started off with the pre-show with the New Day defending the SmackDown Tag Team titles against Aiden English and Rusev. I thought the intro promo was a bit funny, especially when they did a whole Rusev Day throat clearing off thing, I guess. First time I've sort of seen that. Again, really good match. There's a bit where Kofi goes for his leapfrog off from the ring to the outside into Rusev. Rusev catches him with a kick, which is pretty cool. The story to it is Aiden English and Rusev are miscommunicating or tagging in and stuff like that. There's a bit where Aiden English convinces Rusev to go up for a diving headbutt, and then it tags him as Rusev goes to dive off, and then basically Rusev misses because Kofi rolls out the way, and then Aiden hits a frog splash. Doesn't get the win though. Then he actually starts getting some momentum. Actually uses the accolade himself. Rusev wants to be tagged in. Basically confuses Aiden because obviously he's got the hold on Kofi. Kofi then escapes it, hits Aiden into the rope. As Aiden's about to tag Rusev in, Rusev jumps in, tries to attack Kofi, which Kofi moves out of the way. Aiden tries to get Kofi, he moves out of the way again, hits him in Trouble of Paradise to pick up the victory. So New Day retain the SmackDown Tag Team titles, and Rusev Day are left to fall out yet again. So I don't see where it's going to go from there. Obviously, what's next for the New Day is they're defending against the Bar at the Super Showdown in Australia, apparently. So that should be interesting. Then we move on to the first Hell in a Cell match. They put a video out during the weekend for the construction of the Hell in a Cell cage itself. It's now all red. Basically, same height, same design, all that stuff. It's just red now, which is more interesting because obviously red's to do with hell and all that stuff. And it makes it a bit more appealing because obviously the Hell in a Cell looks so similar to a steel cage, so I'm not against it being red instead of silver. So we start off Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy. Match I first thought, at first, doesn't need to be in a Hell in a Cell match. It wasn't that vicious or anything. I was complaining that the Samoa Joe and AJ Styles match should have been in Hell in a Cell because of how personal it's got. But yeah, they decided to put this one's Hell in a Cell match for an opener. And watching it, I'm definitely taking back what I said about it not deserving to be in Hell in a Cell match because it was brutal. There was chair shots, there was tables, ladders. There's like a TLC match in the Hell in a Cell match. Sorry, there's a little fly near me. The worst part, not as in worse as in it was bad, as in it was super cringeworthy because I first cringed when Randy Orton put his finger in Jeff Hardy's little ear hole because obviously he's got the little piercing thing that people seem to get nowadays where it creates a loop in the ear. He basically puts his finger in it, he starts yanking on it. He's like, oh, like that. It gets even worse with this one. He gets a screwdriver. He basically stretches the ear, puts the screwdriver through the hole and starts to twist it. And I was like, oh my god, it's going to either rip off or just start bleeding or something. Jeff manages to escape it. I think there's a bit where he starts hitting him with a chair. I didn't notice it. I didn't know it happened until after the match. I think he throws a chair or something happens and it basically stabs into Orton's leg and it pulls out a chunk of his leg, which is disgusting. There's a picture somewhere where there's this little hole and just his skin dangling off the side. The bit that I noticed was earlier in the match, Orton basically takes off Jeff Hardy's belt that he wears, the sort of studded one, and basically Jeff gets it back and starts whipping Orton on the back, and basically because of that and the chair shots, Randy is bleeding across his back. Not heavily bleeding, not Hardcore Holly style from that tables match, I think it was, where it's super cut open, you see it just dripping down. It's just, the blood's just there, but it's very thin. It ends with Jeff Hardy making a comeback, gets Randy Orton laid on the table, he sets up two ladders. He's thinking originally leapfrogging off one ladder through the other, sort of like he did to Matt Hardy in the I Quit match. But then he basically gets up, climbs on the cell, starts to do a swing, sort of like Kalisto did in the Elimination Chamber a few years ago, which is probably the only highlight of that match. And basically basically, as he drops down, Autumn moves out of the way and he basically just plummets straight through the table. The referee starts to try calling off the match and then raising the cell, which for a Hell in a Cell match, it seems a bit odd, but it works in Autumn's favour because he's sort of like, I don't care how hurt he is, just do your job and count the pin. So basically, he gets the referee to count the pin. I don't get why the referees complain about it. It's like, no, he's seriously hurt. We've got to stop the match. He's like, I'm trying to stop the match. Go with it. So basically, Autumn picks up the win, and then he like just walks off on his own. They don't play the music for him. But yeah, again, it was a really entertaining, really gruesome match. Definitely, it's got to be up there for one of the top 10 Hell in a Cell matches now. I wish I could say the same for the main event, but we'll get to that later. So next we had Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's Championship. This could have easily been a Hell in a Cell match as well because of how personal it's got. Becky Lynch as a justifiable heel, I guess. She's sort of sick of Charlotte always being in the spotlight, basically taking her moments away from her. Again, really good match. Instead of them beating the crap out of each other through intensity and hatred, they're basically trying to out-wrestle each other. Becky's working on the arm a lot. And then like Charlotte's trying to fight back. It ends with Charlotte goes for a spear, and then Becky Lynch basically, I think she rolls, like counters it with a roll-up or something like that, or like into a slam, and she actually gets the pinfall that way. I feel like it was supposed to be a spear counted into a Bexploder or something, but it's not often that Becky Lynch picks up a pinfall victory, but I'm not against it because it saves Charlotte from tapping out, because I don't think Charlotte ever tapped out unless it's to the bank statement, unfortunately. Yeah, Becky Lynch is now your SmackDown Women's Champion, which I am very happy for. I wanted her to win it at SummerSlam, but if they do it this way, that's fair enough. Heel turn is justified and actually means something, because sometimes they screw up someone's heel turn, i.e. Nakamura earlier this year. Charlotte basically tries to raise her hand in victory, and Becky again is like, no, you're not taking my moment away from me, and she basically walks off with the title. So I'm not against that, because it's pretty much what she's trying to prove. Charlotte's just trying to be all like, oh, we're friends still, blah, 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 you deserve it this time. And Becky's like, no, this is my moment, it's not yours. So we've got Becky Lynch as SmackDown Women's Champion. I feel like down the line, Asuka's going to try and challenge for it at some point. Naomi will as well. Like, if they keep Becky Lynch as a heel, it's hard to tell because so many people are cheering her, and in the promo for it, they did show people cheering for her turn as well, so maybe she's a bit in the middle. Sort of like Austin style, where it's like, still gets cheered, but he's not exactly doing good guy things, whereas she's not doing good girl things. But I'm very happy for Becky Lynch to be SmackDown Women's Champion. Then we had Dolph and Drew defending the Raw Tag Team titles against Dean and Seth, and this is pretty much match of the night. There are so many moments where you think it could be over, just brilliant between each other. One thing that did start to annoy me, it's nothing to do with the match, it's more Michael Cole on commentary, it's the way he says sequence. He's like, what a sequence! Like, what's quence? It's sequence. Like, he says it like 3 times in a row. He's like, what a sequence! What a sequence! What a sequence! It's like, why are you saying that, you know? But literally, it's like, there's one move after another, there's like 8 moves in one. Drew kicks out of a frog splash on the back. I think he kicks out on some giant combo as well. Dolph gets hit with a super kick and kicks out of that. Drew gets hit with a super kick, kicks out of that. I think at one point, Seth goes for a curb stomp, misses. Then Dolph tries to go for it, gets caught, buckle bomb. And then I think Seth does the Falcon Arrow combo and doesn't win. It ends with basically Seth tries to get Dolph on the outside. Dolph moves out of the way. Dean and Seth are fighting in the middle. Then Dean and Drew fall onto the outside of the ring. Seth realizes that Dolph is a legal opponent. So basically gets him on the top, goes for a suplex Falcon Arrow. And as he's about to hit the Falcon Arrow, Drew comes out of nowhere and hits him with a Claymore. And then Dolph just sort of just falls on Seth, which is the brilliant part of it. Basically, like, Dolph is pretty much helpless in this point. And basically, just because the way he landed, he sort of just landed straight on Seth and gets a pinfall that way. Basically, because he's that exhausted, Drew's like carrying him out of the ring whilst they retain the tag team titles. Again, like I said, match of the night. Definitely go watch it if you can, because it's brilliant. We then go to, let's see, we're on match number 5. I'm trying to think what it was. Just we had Rusev New Day. Then we had Orton, Jeff, we had Becky and Charlotte, then we had the Raw Tag Team titles, then we had, I think that's 4, and there's 4 more, but I genuinely can't remember because you got, we had, I think it was Ronda and Alexa next, or it was Styles and Joe. I think possibly Styles and Joe. So I'll go with them. No, it would have been Ronda and Alexa. So basically, that was pretty much almost the same. The only difference in this match is you got Mickey and Fox in Alexa's corner. You got Natalya in Ronda's corner. Ronda's basically selling the ribs because that's basically been the whole vocal point of like the build-up is she's now got bad ribs due to being outnumbered and all that stuff. Again, it's another good match, just like SummerSlam. Ronda gets a comeback, tries to do some moves, but the ribs are hurting too much. But eventually she overcomes it. The second she puts the armbar in, Alexa taps out. Like I said, it's a pretty standard match. Not the weakest match of the night, but it's basically like average compared to. I think it's sort of just like it sort of unfortunately gets the whole because we've had amazing matches. It sort of just feels a bit underwhelming, but it's basically just to settle everyone down probably. Then next we got to the WWE title match with Samoa Joe and AJ Styles. This one should have been the Hell in a Cell match because of how personal it got. Obviously, Samoa Joe keeps mentioning his family and how Samoa Joe is basically going to send AJ Styles back home to be the father that he's supposed to be. If not, that Samoa Joe will be the father, or the daddy as he calls it, obviously. Again, the only issue that I've had with it is it went into a wrestling match. Like, because it got that personal, surely they wouldn't be about the wrestling. There were some amazing moments in it, some really close moments again. The finish comes, like, I was watching it myself, it was very similar to Shayna Baszler and Kairi Sane, or Kairi Sane, however you want to say it. I say Kairi Sane, at NXT TakeOver New Orleans, where Shayna goes to put the sleeper on, and Kairi, basically, she flips over the top into a pinfall attempt. And basically, that's how AJ retains as well, because he basically flips over, he gets a 3 count. They don't play his music straight away, so Mojo's there celebrating because he thinks he's won, and basically he says, and still the WWE champion. So Mojo's just livid about it. He's like, no, he tapped out, he tapped out. But by the angle you've got it, all you see is the pinfall. So later on, they show the other camera, and literally halfway through 2, AJ is tapping on Samoa Joe. So you can see Samoa Joe's been sort of screwed out with the title, because unfortunately the ref didn't see from where the ref was, he didn't see AJ tap out. So it sort of works like Punk and Bryan did in 2012 as well. Bryan had that whole Punk tapped out thing at 3, because of the pinfall and where the ref was, he didn't see the tapping out. I think it was a cross. Yeah, it was the bell lock or no lock at the time, and basically Punk sort of rolled him over like that, but he still got it. So basically, as the 3 counts, you see him tap on the shoulder, but the referee's on the other side, so he doesn't see it. He just sees Bryan's shoulders down. So it sort of works like that way. Samoa Joe goes to Paige, he's angry about it. So I'm guessing he's going to get a rematch at Survivor Series, which I think is the next one. I don't think they're doing that at the Super Showdown. I don't know what match is at the Super Showdown. It's probably going to be Styles and someone versus Nakamura and Joe. Who knows? But again, it was a really good match. It sort of protects both of them. Obviously, I think they're still trying to go with the whole AJ being the longest reigning WWE champion to outdo Punk and Lesnar. The only problem is it's the Nakamura territory again, where if Joe loses again, that's 3 times he's lost now, whereas Nakamura lost, I think, 4 times. It doesn't really do him any favours, unless then Joe goes after the US title afterwards. Second to last match is probably the weakest match of the night, in my opinion. It's Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella versus The Miz and Maurice. I didn't pay too much attention to it. But yeah, it's half and half. Basically, Brie's trying to get to Maurice all the time. Daniel and Miz keep fighting a lot. Eventually, Brie gets in, starts attacking Maurice a lot. And apparently there's like a miscue or something. I haven't gone back and watched it yet. But basically, Brie hits Maurice with a running knee or something. And I'm guessing like Miz was supposed to stop the count or something. So basically she delays the count. And then Maurice does some like weak attempt at a roll up. And she's supposed to like grab the tights, but it doesn't look like it even from the camera angle they've got. And that's how they win. So Miz and Maurice have beat Daniel Bryan and Brie. I would assume that my prediction was Brie was going to pin Maurice. And then Miz can still use that, saying that, yeah, like your wife may have been my wife, but you still haven't beat me. So basically use that manual. Yeah, awkward finish. Main event time. Mixed feelings about it, but at the end of the day, it's sort of, to me, again, I could see where they were trying to go with it, but it did sort of ruin the pay per view. It didn't ruin the whole pay per view, it just sort of ruined my overall rating of the pay per view a bit. So you got Braun versus Roman Reigns for the Universal title. Mick Foley, special guest referee, mainly there to promote his new show, like the 20 Years of the Cell, which basically airing afterwards. They do that immediately. Second Mick Foley's getting in the ring, it's like, and Mick Foley will be on this show, blah blah blah, advertising on the WWE Network right after Hell in a Cell, blah blah blah. Basically, they start in there, they start fighting, they start getting weapons instantly, which not against is kendo sticks, chairs, tables, all that stuff. Then after about 5 or 10 minutes or so, they get knocked down. Mick Foley screws up a. Well, I'm not blaming Mick Foley. I'm more blaming Roman because he didn't put his shoulder up quick enough. But basically, Braun does a running power slam. And it's supposed to be a 2 count, and basically Mick hits the 3. Then Roman puts his shoulder up, and I was like, "Oh, it's a 3," and it's like 2, and then Braun's like, "No, it was 3," and you can just hear the fans like booing it because they clearly saw it was a 3, but they didn't register it as 1 for some reason. Then you have they basically both get knocked down at some point. Like I think they do like a double clothesline or some crap like that. Then Dolph and Drew interfere, try and get into the cage. They're like, "Oh, we have to get in and help him," and the rest like, "No, I'm not letting you in. Why would I do that? The whole point is to keep you out." Then Seth and Dean get involved, and then they start brawling on the outside, going around the cell, start climbing the cell. The only problem I've got with the cell being red is you can now clearly see the holes as to where they can climb up. So Dolph gets up on the cell, Seth follows him, they start brawling, then Drew gets up to help Dolph, then Dean comes up with a kendo stick, starts attacking Drew, Drew then grabs the kendo stick, throws it away, and they do a double clothesline, land on the cell, and because it's dipping that much, I was worried that they were going to fall through or something. I was basically assuming someone would fall through. Dolph then tries to escape back down. Seth follows him. They start punching each other. They do the Seth and Dean spot from a couple of years back, where they start headbutting each other and going, "Oh," almost falling off, and then they both smack each other's heads against the cell and both fall through the tables, which have already been sort of cleared out for them. Again, WrestleMania 32, Michael Cole says, "For the love of mankind," when Shane jumps off the cell and falls off. It's just so cringeworthy because it's so forced. There's another forced line here. He goes, Seth Rollins crashed and he burnt it down. I was like, oh, God's sake, like, why do you feel that that's going to catch on or something? It's not going to. It's a shitty line. So Drew and Dean are still on the top. Braun and Roman have been laying down for about 10 minutes. Then, out of nowhere, Brock Lesnar's music hits. Oh, shit, this could be interesting, because obviously Brock's been gone since SummerSlam and everyone thought he'd be gone forever. Then he comes out in a plain shirt. There's no suplex city, no sponsors, no nothing. Paul Heyman is literally going to referee, "Give me the key to the cell, give me the key to the cell," blah, blah, blah. And they keep bleeping it like he's swearing, but it's like fully on. It's either because they thinking that Heyman's swearing, or there's a fan near him that keeps swearing. I'm not sure, but they keep bleeping it every 5 seconds, like he is. Like they keep blanking out the audio, but he's not. He's literally just saying, "Give me the damn, give me the key to cell, or open the damn door," or something like that. Whereas "damn's" not Eventually, this is the bit that was probably my favourite part. Brock Lesnar literally just kicks the door down, like in one kick, just goes boom and knocks it down. Then he grabs the door, leans it against the apron, climbs up it, and then literally just springs over the top of the, over the top of the apron. Starts to attack Braun and Roman with like bits of the tables that they broke until they break in half. Then he hits both of them with an F5, and you're thinking, "Oh shit, who's going to make the most of this?" Referees come out and rule it a no contest. Yeah, that's what pissed me off the most. A match where they clearly state in the first bit there's no disqualification, there's no rules. Basically, no nothing. The only way to win is by pinfall or submission. It gets called off. Kane, one of the most iconic moments is Kane breaking through the door cell, attacking the Undertaker. Shawn Michaels then crawls out and pins Undertaker, like it carries on, and that's how it ends. Like, why didn't Brock just put one of the people over and then count it that way? It protects, their logic was it protects both of them and it still makes Brock look strong and all that stuff. But again, Mick Foley as Mankind, thrown off the top of the cell through a table. thrown through the cell. Basically, a tooth lodged in his nose. Probably did all sorts of himself. Got thrown through thumbtacks. Eventually, the match is like Undertaker wins the match. Again, wasn't stopped. Why is this Hell in a Cell match stopped? Like, that's the thing that pissed me off about it was going so well, and that's the ending to the Universal title Hell in a Cell match. Like, it's just so annoying. But my grade would have been a 9 out of 10, but I'm now going to have to give it a 7 out of 10. Like I said, majority of the pay-per-view is brilliant. It would have been a 9 out of 10 if it was a standard finish. I wouldn't have cared if Roman retained that way. But again, it probably sets up a triple threat at Survivor Series. But yeah, like I said, amazing pay-per-view. It's just a shame about the ending. It's just such a stupid way to end it. But that's my review for Hell in a Cell 2018. Let me know what you think. I shall hopefully see you in the next one.